welcome back. Results are in for yesterday's elections in Alabama, Virginia, and Georgia, and they show a mixed bag for former President Trump's favored candidates. Vernon Jones, who had Trump's endorsement in Georgia's 10th district, lost to Mike Collins. Jake Evans, Trump's pick in Georgia's 6th district, lost to Rick McCormick. Meanwhile, in Alabama, Katie Britt won the nomination for the state's open Senate seat after Trump unendorsed her opponent, Congressman Mo Brooks, to back her instead. ABC News political director Rick Klein joining me now for more. So, Rick, what do these results tell us about Trump's influence over the Republican Party?
Donald Trump is on a serious Georgia losing streak. But what's really interesting, Kira, about how he's losing these races is that in these cases, both the candidates that he endorsed lost, but the candidate who pronounced himself more Trumpy actually won. In both of those cases, you have individuals who are more strident about their false claims about the last election, who won and won big. It tells you there are severe limits to the Trump endorsement, that voters are willing to go in their own direction, but it doesn't necessarily make them never Trumpers or anti-Trumpers, even in the context of yesterday, a day where we heard that searing testimony from Georgia Republicans about the president's actions during the last election, his efforts to try to overturn that. You still had candidates who were ascribing to the so-called big lie prevail in primaries.
So, meanwhile, Axios is now reporting that Mehmet Oz, Dr. Oz, as we know him, who played up Trump's endorsement in the primaries, appears to have altered his campaign website. We're taking a look at it here to limit images, and he mentions, he doesn't mention the former president. So what do you make of that?
This is a pivot to the general election. It's a different audience now. Mehmet Oz would not be the Senate nominee in Pennsylvania if not for Trump's endorsement. I think he knows that. He acknowledged as much. But when you're talking to a general election audience in a battleground state like Pennsylvania, you have to find a new message. And it's just one example of how primary season is not necessarily real life. You're going to see candidates who try to play this a little bit differently. A Trump endorsement still matters in Republican primary politics. It isn't everything, but it can cut both ways in a general election in particular. Remember, Donald Trump lost Pennsylvania in 2020.
So the latest ABC News Ipsos poll, as you know, shows the January 6th committee hearings may be having an impact. 6% more Americans actually believe that former President Trump should be charged now with a crime than before the hearings began. But there is this stark partisan divide, right? 91% of Democrats, 80 and 62% of independents think that Trump should be charged with a crime. So that's compared with 19% of Republicans. How do you expect the hearings to impact the primaries now going forward, and also the midterm elections come November?
Yeah, the primaries, we're not seeing a lot of evidence that the January 6th hearings or that the blame of Trump is playing in a big way. The big test of that will be in August. You've got 3 Republicans, including Liz Cheney, who voted for impeachment of the president, who have primary challengers that are endorsed by Donald Trump. The key number for me in that poll, Kira, was the number of independents. 62% of independents thinking the former president, should be charged with a crime. That's a big number. It's not as big as among Democrats, but it does tell you that the middle of the country, what is out there as potential battleground voters, they still think that Trump is responsible. That has not changed. In fact, it's gotten even a little stronger since these hearings began.
Well, it's going to be an interesting November and the months leading up to it. Rick Klein, thanks so much.
Thanks, Kira.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.